Hey, great Friday morning. Very, very short show. Very short show because I have work. I have people that walked into the office. Also, I have got a wedding today. I hate my canker sore. It looks horrible. Um, I'm going to have a very, very busy weekend. Going to start putting up signs tomorrow. Going to start getting ready. Next week, I have to be in Eagle Pass for a couple of days. So that's going to take up some time. Um, it's just going to be a busy week. Went to Victor Caballero's event yesterday. A lot of people at the event, a lot of great people. The food was amazing. I think that, I think that's one of the things with um, one of the things with Big Daddy's. Big Daddy's always has great food. The food was good. Did you eat anything? Or no? Oh, I ate. I think I ate a little taco. Science. But about the cookies? That's what we were here for. I'm not gonna do cookies this time around. Only going to have signs put up and maybe a billboard here or there. It was a good event. There was a lot of people. I think uh, Victor's speech went a little bit too long. I was going like, yeah, you could have cut that down to like maybe 15, 20 minutes. But one of the things that I will say about Victor Caballero, very, very passionate. Very, very passionate about the race, very, very passionate about the district. And I think that was the one thing that you could take away yesterday from the event. Uh, Very, very passionate. I think that, I had conversations with different folk there, and the conversations that I had with different folks here really went around not only what's happening at the district. A lot of the talk was in regards to the coming sale, and also about the work of the current superintendent. I met with the superintendent yesterday, had a conversation with him. Seems like an okay guy. I think it's very hard sometimes to formulate uh, moving forward policies when you don't have a clear understanding in regards to the dynamics of um, of the district and how things really, really work in the district. And again, it's something that I've said in regards to a lot of the individuals who think that they go out there and run. I did see one of my opponents here yesterday, Coach Farley. Seems like a okay guy. Again, el otro imbécil. Just a great, great little event. Good morning, good morning, good morning. I will not be doing free chicken plates at all. It's let me tell you, no chicken plates, no free chicken plates. One of the things that I think that Juan was making mention of was, hey, as to go out there and have a good morning, have a meet and greet. I'm not going to do a meet and greet. I'm not going to be out there giving individuals food and stuff. It's not my thing. Was what's the incentive to vote for you? No free chicken plates, no cookies. Pues wow, no food. I don't believe in feeding the masses. I think the masses should be responsible to feed themselves. Good morning, good morning. And let me say that one of the things that I appreciate yesterday about Victor Caballero's campaign meet and greet, I appreciate the fact that there was parents there. There were parents there. There were parents there. Not only were there parents there were also students there, former students of Victor Caballero, and that was very very inspiring. So all in all, it was a great little event. We'll see what happens. Tío Erasmo, cásame en el puente en caliente, nomás consíguete la novia o el novio, ahorita ya se vale. Um, just an interesting event yesterday. I will be going to every event out there. One of the things I think that really boggled my mind was that some individuals, even individuals who know me, would come up to me and say, "Hey, well, we know that you're working with the other side." And we're like, "There's only one side when you're running for BISD, only one." Good morning, Frankie.
Hi, good morning, Erasmo. I was debating whether I should wear a shirt this morning or not, but I think you got me on a good day, so nope. I'll be wearing clothes
You're wearing
for
clothes today.
the duration of your show.
You promise not to take off your shirt.
I'm working on it. I'm working on it, Erasmo.
Did you see Captain Bob's post, the Danny post?
Yeah, poor Captain Bob. One thing I want to say is, no matter what we are dealing with, we can't refer to people as inferiors or derogatory names. To me, that's very ugly. Once you start using those terms, you lose me. You lose people. Um, to start off in that way, there are many people who may not have the same ideas as us, but that doesn't mean that we should bash them or target them or belittle them. I'm not saying that Mr. Danny Salinas is, because he's obviously not. But just to start off on those terms is very disingenuous. It's ugly, and he's going down a very dark road. I personally, I was hearing you yesterday when you were saying, oh, it's those people that support Captain Bob and encourage him to say, these things were wrong. What I like people who create content. Captain Bob is an individual that has been addressing very, very important issues in the city of Brownsville. Many people, based on his past transgressions, are saying, oh, well, he's not deemed worthy or he's not qualified enough to be telling us about these things. Um, you know, drugs, substance abuse is something that a lot of people deal with. And I've been the type of person that, hey man, I went to school with individuals that they drank, they smoked, they partied, but they were responsible. They were never vulgar. They were never belittle people. So to me, that really bothers me. He seems unhinged, Erasmo, and I hate to say it. I really hope that he apologizes, not just because Danny's my family. It's bigger than that. Once you start throwing out those words, and once you start thinking that it's okay to address anyone, regardless of who they are, in that way, that would really bother
Well, I just didn't I didn't understand where it was coming from. Danny's a great guy. And I'm not saying that because he's my cousin. He's a great guy. No se mete con nadie. And, he has his shows that are a little bit less politically motivated. They talk about tech stuff and Elon Musk stuff and stuff that's happening with the SpaceX. He started off doing barbecue shows. Every so often he had interviews with certain politicians, but
me.
usually it was always geared towards the tech and economic development. Something that everyone should be concerned of. Danny Salinas is he's a great guy. Great guy. Wouldn't hurt a fly. Is just a great guy. So I didn't understand where it was coming from. The only thing that I think, um, maybe, and this is, I think this is part of the backlash that a lot of my family members get, is because they try to associate them with myself, and because that was the only connection. And again, I feel for Captain Bob. I like Captain Bob. One of the things that I will encourage a lot of the individuals who are out there applauding Captain Bob is, guys, we as individuals, we don't need yes people around us. We don't need individuals to always, oh yeah, 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 you're right, Frankie, you're right, yeah, you're doing great. No. We need individuals that are going to redirect a lot of inappropriate behavior and say, hey man, come on, it didn't look good. It didn't sound good what you say. Hey guys, maybe tone it down a little bit in regards to this and this, because I agree with you. I appreciate the fact that Captain Bob, does this thing to bring awareness in regards to certain issues. I mean, he's done some things that I've never done, but brings in individuals from the tree huggers and the PETA people, and talks about the wildlife and about the shrimp capital of the world or stuff, and that's great. But when you start bringing in your personal life and trying to bash individuals, que ni la deben la temen, then you're going to start to lose folks along the way. And again, I thought it was very, very unfortunate because, again, uh, Danny's a great guy. And I don't think Danny has ever said a curse word, a crossword against Captain Bob. And that's just very unfortunate. So, again, I'll reiterate what I think we mentioned yesterday or a couple of days ago. I don't remember. You know, for all those folks that are out there that like Captain Bob as much as I do, redirect that behavior. Again, uh, there's no way that Captain Bob was sober when he came out on the show uh, with us without a shirt, huffing and puffing in front of his huerquita and saying all those curse words in front of her. And I'm going to believe that a lot of the times when Captain Bob goes out there and starts posting such posts as he did against Danny Salinas, he's not no está en sus cinco sentidos. He's out there flying high as a kite. And just wanted to address it again. There's a bad echo when Sammy talks. It's not Sammy. He just looks like Samuel. Um, Again, guys, do the community a favor and redirect a lot of what Captain Bob says and does and posts, please. I got and I'll say this: I don't understand why he opted to go against Danny just because he's my relative. Because let me say, I've gotten messages, uh, Frankie, from his children, and I love his children. His children are amazing. Robert, Adam, and the girls, amazing. I've had conversations with them, and I've never gone out there and used those conversations in order to bash Captain Bob or to retaliate against Captain Bob, because I've made it very, very clear. There's a very thin line that you should never cross. A line that you should never cross when you're in politics, when you're having these shows, or when you're running for office. You should never go against family members. You should never go against family members. You should never go against marriage issues, and never, ever, ever go against the children. So I've never wanted to drag that out there, and I say that because if I was to act in the same way that he would act, then I wouldn't be any better than Captain Bob. And let me tell you, one of my main goals in life is to be a million times better than Captain Bob.
Oh, I thought you were gonna say to be like Captain Bob. I was like, oh god.
No, a million times better than Captain Bob.
You were talking about Victor Caballero's event. How was the turnout?
There was a great turnout. One of the things that I think a lot of us dealt with was that there was no parking. We had to park next door. I think it's a credit union or something. We
It was
parked there. Huh?
it was that packed?
Yeah, it was packed. Well, you have to consider that there were still people there that were that were eating. The event was held in one of their little side rooms.
Hmm.
The room was packed. There was a lot of folks out there, and a lot of very very passionate folk. I'm very very proud that Victor Caballero held that event, and is planning to hold another event down southmost, which he mentioned yesterday. I'm glad that they can afford these events. I'm not going to be able to have those type of events. Again, I'm not going to go out there and feed people. I'm not going to go out there and do the free lunch phase stuff. And again, everyone campaigns differently. There were candidates there and that were running for office. I mentioned Coach Farley was there. I was able to shake his hand. Didn't have a conversation with him. Uh, I just don't see what he brings to the table. In regards to, and one of the things that I hope a lot of people out there are very, very careful with. Most of these candidates that are running, a lot of the candidates that were there, have already basically decided on which side of the aisle they're going to be in regards to the 4-3 or the 5-2, as a lot of people mentioned. I had a lot of individuals come up to me and say, Erasmo, we're still critical about Marisa Leal, that she hasn't been as vocal as we'd want her to be, and she continues to vote with the majority. And I made mention. I said, I've had conversations with Marisa, and we've talked about this. And again, I reiterated to her what I've stated to everybody else. We don't need individuals on there that are going to be swayed one way or the other. We need individuals on there that are going to be independent thinkers. I'm going to remain in faith and continue to think that Marisa is going to be an independent thinker. I mean, call me crazy, until I'm basically proven otherwise. Too soon into the term. Bronzo needs ideas and principles, no drama and achievement, no more lies, scams, and manipulations. Pero yeah, 100%. We need something a little bit different. Minerva Peña was there at the event, and she came up to me in her Minerva Peña fashion, her style, and says, "Oh, you look amazing. You look great. You look wonderful." And gotta be individuals that be careful with what we say and stuff like that. And going like, yeah, yeah, you're barking up the wrong tree, Miss Peña. Um, Nelda was there. Had a small conversation with Nelda, congratulated her again for coming into the race. I'm very hopeful that Nelda is going to be a good candidate, and hopefully, yes, be able to have more conversations with her from here on till the election. Carlos Elizondo was there, had a conversation with Carlos Elizondo. Carlos Elizondo is a friend, had great conversations with him. Again, I, I'm hoping that one of the what individuals take from these events is that you're going to get a clear understanding in regards to the platform that a lot of these folks are running for, or a lot of the platforms that individuals would opt to align with. Frank Ortiz was there. Had said hi to him and to his family. I love his wife. His wife and I have been friends for a long, long time. So it was a jam packed. The other individual that was there was tax assessor collector candidate Remy Martinez. Is that Martinez's last name? See,
Right.
Remy Martinez had a conversation with him. Said, "Hey, how's it going?" It's crazy because at first I didn't recognize him. I didn't recognize him at first. Still was friendly to everyone. Everyone in the room was very, very friendly to Erasmo Castro. So I'm very, very hopeful that this is going to be a very interesting and a great, great upcoming race.
Yeah, yeah. I wanted to go. I've been under the weather these past few days, so I wasn't able to make it. But it's good to see that he has support. It's unfortunate how the direction of the school district has gone these 3.5 or so years. His opponent was elected, in my opinion, because she represented a a mother who was constantly involved in her child's life at the school. When I think of like a PTA member, somebody that's always vocal and advocating um, for her child's needs and also for I would even dare say the school's needs, her son's classmates' needs. Um, it's unfortunate how an individual was given such a great opportunity to shine, to showcase that a stay-at-home mom could really change the dynamics of BISD. As everyone knows, BISD half a billion dollar budget. It bleeds money left and right. And we thought, okay, fine, wow, we're gonna have somebody who's not gonna be involved in the money making politics scheme that BISD has been, because for the past, I want to say maybe 10 years that I've been following BISD, it's a cash cow. It's been a piggy bank for a lot of people. When you talk about this, oh, $14.5 million sale, oh, but then you talk about, oh, we're going to build another CTE building. All that's your contracts, ladies and gentlemen. These people are just seeing green. Oh, hey, dale, I can exprimirle. Let's take them for all they're worth. It's been a real big disappointment because when she got on the she was in the minority at the beginning. The majority treated her like crap, Erasmo. They they didn't give her an opportunity to shine. She was always second fiddle. 2 years ago, when she was given the presidency position, she did a whole 180. She aligned with those individuals that cut her off, that were mean to her, and then she's doing what I thought she would never do. Again, I have no problem with individuals, being modest people, hardworking people. When she started, and I'm going to get some flack for this, but we got to say it the way it is. We had an individual that wasn't working. She would dress modest. She goes in, becomes the board president. She gets a loan from Lone Star National Bank, a BISD vendor. Now, ladies and gentlemen, I've been around all my friends, and I'm not ashamed to say this. All my friends, they're richer than me. They're smarter than me. I'm the dumbest in my group. I'm the poorest in my group. They have credit scores of seven, close to 800. They have a portfolio of multi-million dollars, well, hundreds of thousands of dollars. And Erasmo, in this economy, they even struggle with getting loans. It's very difficult in today's day and age. Inflation's through the roof. The economy is in shambles. It's very difficult for anyone to get a loan. It's not like 15, 20 years ago where they were dishing out loans, credit cards left and right. She has been a disappointment, in my opinion. She was given the board position, she was given the board presidency. She aligned with the majority. Now she gets loans. Now she has nice teeth, which those go anywhere from 4 to 7,000. You may say, "Oh, well, you're attacking her character." Attacking? No, it's apparent that the money, the money got to her. Now she's not a PTA mom. Now she's, oh, how am I gonna make this work for myself? So I am hopeful that a person like Victor Caballero will be an individual that will guide the school district to what it needs to be, fiscally responsible with the taxpayer money.
I'm hoping to. And again, good luck to Victor Caballero. I want to see forums, and I want to see debates where a lot of the questions are answered in regards to what an individual ran on, and what they turned up to be. One of the things that I think, if you're referring to Jessica Gonzalez, one of the things that she ran on was, oh, they're closing schools, and we don't ever want to close schools. And then lickety split, voted to close three schools down during the term, and never, thought bad about him. And again, I understand the dynamics, and I had a conversation with her, and I said, "Now, do you understand what happens?" Because a lot of times, a lot of these candidates are out there making promises that, you know, are unsustainable. That you cannot make because you cannot keep. And one of the things I think that differentiates candidates like Jessica Gonzalez and the majority of the board right now is that, look, guys, you may not always like what I say, but I'm going to always tell you to do my best to tell you the truth. And the truth of the matter is that there was no other option, because BISD has fallen so far down a rabbit hole that it's going to be very, very hard to climb out of, because of the wonky decisions that have been made in the past 3.5 years. And it's just really very, very, very unfortunate. This talk about the CTE new building, it really is unmanageable. It's unimaginable. It's not going to happen, guys. It's not going to happen unless they raise your taxes or they go out for a bond. They're talking about going out for a $450 million bond that we're going to have to pay for. The sale of Cummings is not going to give us a CTE building. It's not. I mean, the city of Brownsville is planning to give us $16 million. That does not a building make, Frankie. It doesn't. And then the district was talking about putting the building where the Performing Arts Center, uh, was programmed to be at. The property that was set aside for the Performing Arts Center. Again, another slap in the face, guys. How many more slaps in the face do you have to take from BISD and from the current leadership, quote unquote leadership there, in order to start, becoming involved in the electoral process and get individuals out there that are going to tell you the truth, or individuals that are not like minded to the vendor driven board that we have right now? Why does anyone focus on the judicial magistrate races? They're responsible for holding scammers and corruption in check. I think we have. I know that Nora is running for re-election, and I think she's on the appeals court. Nora Longoria. So that's the only one I've seen that's actually running for a race. And again, I'm not sure any other candidates that are running this November in the judicial system. I think right now the focus is the presidential race, and also a BISD race, which I'm very glad that attention is being given. Two views well, you're one of them, so thanks for being on there. So congratulations to everyone that has opted and decided to run for office. Real quick, Frankie, because I've got a wedding coming up. But real quick, Frankie, what is your take on the Cummings situation?
I think this was something that um, is needed. In my opinion, the 14.5 is not enough. As we see the market, we see the economy. Everything's expensive. I think at one time, I did view that at one time it was appraised at 20 million, or there's an offer for 20 million and it wasn't accepted. Currently, we're the school district. There's a deficit of 26. I'll
Million.
round it off to $30 million, just a good figure. The district is in the red, $30 million. If I was a superintendent, in good faith, I would say, look, because land, you can't get it back. It's not like if the district can say, "Oh, we have, so many acres that we can just build again." Land is kind of sacred to me. If you give it, you got to give it up for a good penny. Market value. I did read that they did an appraisal study that they came back at 14.5. It's not worth 14.5. Not in today's economy. If I was a superintendent in good faith, I would I would appraise it at 30 million, get the budget back in the black, so to speak. That way we can move forward. And that to me would make sense, because we're operating at a loss. It takes $30 million, $1 million a day to run BISD. You need to have $90 million in the coffers for a rainy day. For those individuals that you talked about, the CFO yesterday, which I thought it was being, well, I'm not gonna say his name, but you talked about the CFO yesterday, and you talked about other things, Rene Gutierrez, but it takes $30 million for BISD to operate in 1 month. They do have 40 some schools now, if I'm not mistaken, and they are losing children. So that $1 million per day might have come down to maybe 800, 850 to 950. But that's what I would have done, Erasmo. I would have sold the property for 30 million. Hey, take it or leave it. Who's desperate here? The city of Brownsville is desperate. In my opinion, I hate to say this, and I know people are not going to like this. The zoo is a failure. The zoo is a money pit. Uh, It was beautiful in the early 90s. Oh my God, it is an internationally known city, the city of Brownsville and Gladys Porter Zoo. And I remember going to the zoo and looking at hippos, looking at polar bears, looking at lions, zebras, exotic animals. Now it's just, you called it yesterday a petting zoo, unfortunately. You go, you walk in, los leones todos flacos, los tigres ya ni se quieren reír los pobres. Esos sí son esclavos. In my opinion, um, it, the more we sink in this, the more it is going to get worse. How can we sustain what we have if we expand? If we can't feed the animals now, if we are losing a so is the city telling us that by us getting more room, more space, is that going to affect our accreditation? Are we going to lose funding from the state, from these different organizations that, oh, now we have this space, we're going to invest 5, 10, $15 million more into what we have. We still can't feed our animals. We still can't attract even more exotic animals. We're losing animals. This to me doesn't make sense. Now, BISD, it makes sense. Hey, we're in the whole 30 million. You're desperate. You need money. The mayor, one of his platforms was, I'm going to expand the zoo. So he has a lot going for him. In business, it's all about leverage. The one who has the leverage is the one that usually gets the better end of the bargain. For BISD to submit to $14.5 million, to me, that's a cop out. And I understand, we're dealing with taxpayer money, so maybe, hey, you don't want to bilk one more than the other because at the end of the day, it's still the same pie that you're taking from. But being fiscally responsible to me is a number that would cover the district deficit. To me, that's 27, that's $30 million. That's my opinion. That way, in good faith, the board could say, okay, thank you, Super, for getting us here. We're going to make sure that we don't jump into a deficit, and we're not going to blame the governor anymore. We're not going to say, oh, because of the governor, the property taxes, and oh, we're in the whole 20 million. No, it's because we're not fiscally responsible. That's my take on Gladys Porter Zoo.
Well, it's going to be interesting, and I want to see a lot of the numbers out there. A lot of the things that they're saying just doesn't make sense. BISD is claiming that the city of Brownsville has promised that GBEC and BCIC are going to give them money. It's not going to happen. They only receive $5 million each. Each organization only receives $5 million from our tax dollars, and the the reason that they receive this money is for something completely different. It's not going to happen, guys, and that's what's unfortunate. What's unfortunate is that we're getting all these promises. We're not going to get a CTE building made under $60 million. It's not going to happen, guys. And where is that money going to come from? The $16 million that the city of Brownsville is putting on the table does not cover that building, does not even cover the land where the building is going to be built. It just doesn't. And it's really, really unfortunate because a lot of individuals, as they are playing into the game that they always play. And I made mention of this yesterday. The same tactics that were used for getting money for the Performing Arts Center are the same tactics that are being used for the CTE program, and as a reason in regards to sending this to the city. Again, the taxpayers here in the city of Brownsville who are already overtaxed, burdened with a lot of the extra weight that is being placed on the shoulders of the community by this current city commission, as they are going to be the ones that receive the brunt force of everything that's going to happen out there. So it's unfortunate. But I think we'll be talking more about it as soon as more numbers come in. Frankie, anything else happening this weekend or this week?
No, we're 75 days away from election. I think it's time for the candidates to talk about policy, talk about what they're going to do if they're given that opportunity to be um, in that in those positions. As we've seen from the Democratic Party, they're withholding all that information, and I like to address the national level because that's what's popping right now. But here locally, I want to see from each candidate, what they bring to the table, how they see, because people don't run for uh, for a position if they don't think something's wrong with that entity that they're running for. I want them to talk about what's wrong with BISD. Why are they running? I want them to lay out the faults that this majority have placed the district in. As much as the majority likes to say that, oh, everything's good at BISD, believe in BISD, everything's not good in BISD. And whoever gets elected into that position, it's going to be difficult. It's not going to be peachy clean. It's not going to be roses. It's going to be very, very difficult because we are in a mess. So that's what I want to see. We are 75 days away from election. I do want to see these candidates go for the jugular. Why do you deserve our vote? What are you going to bring to the table? And don't talk to me about, I want policies. What's wrong with the school district? How are you going to fix it? How do we, as voters, how can we be assured that what you talk about now is going to be implemented whenever that candidate is into office? That's what I want to see.
Yeah, I agree with you. Again, what are you going to do for us? Food conditions, reflection of city condition in Brownsville deteriorating 100%. Frankie, I literally have to get to a wedding. I appreciate you coming on. Lowe's a quick show. Let me know when you have time next week, and we'll surely, uh, I'm sure have a lot to talk about.
Sounds
Have,
good.
have a great weekend, Frankie. Guys, have a great weekend. Be
Likewise.
back Monday morning, 9 o'clock. Guys, be good to each other. Continue to me. God bless.